an example of why he is a bad manager and why, and amazingly, why this team is winning in spite of him. But he's great follow, very funny when it comes to some of the baseball stuff that's out there. All around one of the best sports follows you can find on the internet. Yes, Royals and waiting for the winner of Giants and Cardinals. Looks like it's going to be the Giants again, so they trade places for representing the NL over the past couple of years, and okay, fine. Whoop-de-doo. So I'll wrap up our mainstream sports talk. Thank you to all our mainstream listeners. We certainly do appreciate it. And for those of you that stick around for the wrestling, we will be with you in a second. But we'll say goodbye to our mainstream. Please feel free to follow us at IAP Podcast, all one word. Email us at IAPpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to read your comments on the air, or pseudo air as it is, in this case. So on to the WWE as we run wild into sports entertainment.
See what you did there.
And some news that's been crossing the wire over the past couple of days is rather sad and troubling to hear about the lack of progression of Daniel Bryan in his strength in his arm and his recovery from multiple surgeries.
Yeah, so they're now saying that he's going to need Tommy John, which will be another, 12 months.
And yeah. If he was pitching, I think they said. Now, I thought when we talked about Daniel Bryan before, it was on the table that he was going to get Tommy John surgery. And one thing, and I'm honestly, I can't believe it created value for me. But the E channel gave me some insight and created some value for me and made me a smarter wrestler.
Wait, are you sure Megan doesn't need to step in here?
Typically she would. I was happening to watching an episode of Total Divas, and in a recent episode, Daniel Bryan is gets the news that he needs another surgery, and he's pushing it off and delaying it and trying to go a rehab route, holistic medicine, non-surgical, how's the best way to be as least inflammatory as possible, but non-Western science or science-based medicine route. And I told Megan as the episode progresses, and there's still no announcement even at that time whether he was going to undergo the surgery. I think he ended up doing the surgery, but now, as we now know, needs another one. How much he's delaying it. And I couldn't help but find it very selfish of him to do so. And I don't know if you happened to see that episode, if you knew the fact that he was more holistic and natural medicine as opposed to Western medicine, if you knew that about him or not.
I'm not surprised by it.
Or had any views on it.
I'm not surprised by it. I know he's a vegan. He actually used that to build his character when he first came into the WWE, and just kind of knowing a little bit about him. I mean, I didn't know that, and I still have yet to ever watch an episode of Divas, so I didn't see the episode, but that does not surprise me at all. What you're telling me.
Do you think it's selfish? Am I off base? I'm not saying that he owes the wrestling community and the WWE universe, his blood, sweat, and tears. It's a rough enough job. I understand that. But if it's something you want to do and that's your ultimate dream and you're living your dream, I would think that you would take any course necessary to get back to that level, to get back to competing. That's just me.
What's his desire level to get back? And by any means necessary, that's just not him. And I understand why you say it's selfish, but you got to remember this isn't the same as a normal sport. He's not playing for a team where he owes it to his team to get back because whatever. It's just his career, and he it's his injury, and he can kind of just do what he would like with it. And I'm sure the WWE will probably actually support his decision no matter which course he takes. Uh, it's my understanding that Vince and the rest of the WWE is very, very supportive of their superstars on, their stances on pretty much everything. Um, they back their guys. They're loyal to their wrestlers as long as their wrestlers are pretty much loyal to them. So,
Okay, I don't mind being off base. I'm coming from that mentality of I don't want to say guaranteed contracts and playing time and all those sorts of things that we'll throw out with baseball, football, NBA, or the NHL. Uh, I I'm happy to learn. I know that I know that he's not necessarily making money, or he's making the money that he would, or having the contract that he would if he was wrestling. But I've garnered that much just from watching the show on the outside, from the outside and stuff. But it's I, you hear a lot about, or you see a lot about individuals like oh, I don't know, like John Cena, and maybe that's just a bad example because John Cena is a genetic freak and one of the strongest, most resilient individuals out there. A premier apex athlete. Uh, okay, maybe it's not fair to compare him, but when you hear him talk about oh yeah, the dedication that he puts into it, and how this is his life, he's living his dream, and you kind of want that for your heroes, or you want that sort of uh, you want that paragon out there. I'm not saying I don't like Daniel Bryan now, or I'm like, oh, Daniel Bryan sucks because of this. I guess it's just for me, it's a different way of looking at it compared to those that are, I don't want to say entrenched in the universe, but just have greater exposure, greater understanding of it.
yeah. The only thing I can kind of maybe say about all that is, um, you at least know Daniel Bryan's doing it natural. Yes, Cena recovered very quickly. Like it seems like it'd be unhumanly possible without some sort of, I don't know, steroid.
Horse hormones.
Horse hormones. Yes. So certain guys do it certain ways. Triple H would probably do it the way Cena does it. CM
Oh yeah.
CM Punk would do it the way Daniel Bryan does it. Rollins would probably do it the way that Daniel Bryan's doing it. Randy Orton would probably do it the way that it's just kind of different, and that also almost seems kind of old school versus a new school. I think Daniel Bryan's kind of of this new school wrestler where they're just different. Not only are they different characters in the ring, but they're really different out, like their personalities are different. um I just kind of think that's how it is right now.
Well, that's fine. I'm totally glad that it's evolving, and I think I'm not sure if that's the case that CM Punk has like drug free tattooed on his hands, but I think we've said before we wouldn't be surprised by that, and from my understanding, is that it's that is his mo. It was his I don't know, a pillar that he leaned on or applied during his career with the WWE. But I get it, and I'm glad that's the case. I mean, I guess I never really thought of Cena as, gosh, I don't want to say a steroid guy, but
Look at him.
yeah, and I'm kind of like, you know what? You're really you're an idiot, man.
It doesn't bother me. Like,
yeah,
there's no, it's not baseball where you're getting an advantage, an unfair advantage. I mean, you're supposed to have these enormous built up
Oh,
guys.
absolutely. I
So
mean, I
it
was
doesn't
looking.
bother me at
Yeah.
all. I mean, it doesn't bother me in the NFL. So why would it bother me in, you know, pro wrestling?
Yeah. I don't know why I just never really thought of it that way. I was looking at some old YouTube videos of like Hulk Hogan, and any old video you see of him, his arms and hands are unnaturally big. It's cartoonish. With so many of those '80s and '90s superstars, it's insane. And I'm like, well, you know what? Yeah, man, they're ripped, but oh wow, yeah, that's chemically ripped, and I guess it doesn't bother me. I mean, if you look at, or for me, it's funny if I look at Triple H then in some of his previous promos or his previous matches or anything like that, he's a completely different guy seemingly than he is now.
Yeah, if you look at what I like to call equestrian Triple H, he was like
Well said.
he was like the size of like hmm, like he looked like Adam Rose.
Thoroughbred.
He looked like Adam Rose. He was like the same size as Adam Rose. And then just eventually he became this monstrous, bigger than life cartoonish character, and I love it. Like when he was still wrestling and his music hit and he came out and he spit the water and he just stared into the, I mean, that was awesome. Yes, he was huge and he looked cool, and it made me just want to like get up and you know grab the weights or something. Like it got you pumped up and it looked awesome. And I that he's obviously on something. And do you care? No, he looks cool. You should do some more.
Do you think The Rock was?
Hell yes. Look at that.
I guess University
Freaking
of
look at
Miami
his
football
arms
player.
all of a sudden.
Oh my
Like in the last
gosh!
few years, his arms are enormous.
Yes, yeah.
Like beyond big. Like, yeah. Like his arms got so big. Same thing like Cena. Cena looks like Popeye.
Yes, he does.
He's got like a weird body, and then his forearms just boom.
Yes, he does. It is hilarious. Let's see. We'll talk about. Did you happen to see this past week's Raw?
Yes, and I
Okay.
thought it was the best Raw in months.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I honestly, it was the past two episodes of Raw have been fantastic. One and for completely different reasons. One, 2 weeks ago, The Rock returned, and
Yeah,
his
but besides that, the rest of the Raw wasn't that great. Well, the Ambrose
no,
stuff, but the Ambrose stuff is always good.
yeah, the Ambrose stuff is always good, but Rock is his mic skills and his promos are just absolutely amazing. To me, an absolute all-time Hall of Famer talker. Great wrestler, even better talker.
Yeah, I mean, he's a top five all time on the mic. He's a good enough wrestler. He's a better wrestler than some of the icons. He's a better wrestler than Hogan. He's a better wrestler than Cena. And I'm just talking about in ring mat work. Um,
Yes.
he's not as good as in the ring as maybe Triple H, but charisma is probably second to none. I mean,
Yeah.
he just oozes charisma. Um, and on the mic, he's easy top five. What was so awesome about his appearance last week was no one knew about it. He kept it a secret. WWE kept it a secret. With all the social media and all the I get constant updates on Bleacher Report from wrestling because I ask for updates on wrestling on my Bleacher Report app. Nothing's a secret on WWE on Monday Night Raw. If someone's supposed to make a quote surprise appearance, the whole world knows about it already.
Yeah.
Nobody knew about this. It wasn't out there at all. Everyone was surprised. That's what made it, like, his music played and I'm like, wait, what? Like, I thought it was a joke at first. And it, like, even took me a second. I'm like, wait, this is The Rock. Like, And that's what